Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Dolls with Karen. Okay, I've got Lucy on the table. She's a Bountiful Baby 20-inch doll. She was sculpted by Marissa May. I don't know who that is, but that's who sculpted her. She's a cute doll. I like her very much. She is a little bit different from some of the other dolls I've done. And she's 3/4. She has 3/4 arms and 3/4 legs. I had thought about switching her limbs out with some extra limbs I have, but I went against that. I said she should have her her full thrust of who she is. This is who she is. And we're going to enhance her. This will be step one of her enhancements. And we're going to see how pretty we can make her. I've laid out my 2 pencils. I'm still waiting for my pencils to come in the mail for capillaries. They are very slow. They picked the slowest method, I think, the slow boat from China maybe. But I don't even think they're coming from China. Jerry's Artorama's just in Indiana, I think. I don't know why it's taking so long. But I think it said the 9th the last time I checked it. I'm not sure. I'll just be surprised when they get here probably. We're going to start with blue. As you can see, Lucy has wrinkles up here on her forehead that can be enhanced. And we're going to try to make her look as good as we can. Just as good as we can. I don't even know what that entails, but we're going to do that. I'm going to put a little bit of blue by her eyes like I always do. I don't think I'm going to do it with this particular brush though. Well, there it goes. It's starting to put a little down now because it doesn't have much in it. I needed to have dipped my brushes a long time ago and I didn't do it. I just keep forgetting. When I get finished working, I'm just ready to stop and I just want to just stop. So anyway, I'm going to dab that a bit because I'm almost positive you'll be able to see that on camera. You're not supposed to be able to. It's way, way harsh. Where's that kabuki? I know this kabuki looks a little red. That's because I kabukied red with it one time by accident. And that red is very staining. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you now. I know you can probably see it, it's way too dark. I'm also gonna put a little on her forehead up here. And I always do that as well. And I tend to do that too dark as well too. That's why we kabuki. We want to spread and soften the color a little bit to make it not seem so harsh and like they're turning into a zombie or something. Okay, that's pretty good. Spread that up a little right there. I know you can't see that probably. You probably can't see what's on her forehead, but I'm almost positive you can see what's by her eyes. The blue brushes seem to have plenty still in them. Okay, we're going to move to purple now because of all of her little frowns and everything she has. I want to enhance them. I don't know if I'll have it. Oh, looks like I'll have plenty. I was going to say I don't know if I'll have enough purple in the brushes to do it, but it looks like I do. This one has plenty for sure. These purple spots will turn into just shadowy things on her forehead. You won't see much purple at all. You will see just a frowny looking look on her face. This will enhance her frown. She's going to be a frowny sleeping baby. And they do look very cute when they're sleeping and they're a little frowny, like they're about to wake up and they frowned in their sleep. My babies used to do it all the time, but most of the time they fell back to sleep. I don't know if you can see that or if you can just tell it's a shadowy look. I don't even know. But sometimes it takes 2 or 3 applications to get the frown the way you want it to look. And I'm just going to apply it 2 or 3 times here to make sure that we can see it. We have to be able to see it for it to look like a shadow. I'll put a little above her eye right there as well. On the underside to help accentuate that frown. This side's just not coloring as well as that side. I don't know why. She got a good seal. I sealed her real good. I just got this kit from Bountiful Baby, and their new, well, that's not all that new anymore, but they were rerunning some of their discontinued kits, and Lucy was one of them. And I love her sculpt. There's a few more I got that I really love too, and I'll be making them as well. I like Kyra and Gabriel and Spencer, and there's several of them. They're very cute little kits, and they're very popular. They were at one time. At least you make a Spencer and it's going to sell that day. I've had several Spencers do that. I'd make a Spencer, I'd post it, and before the day's out, it sold. I really like some of those little kits. I was very upset when they discontinued them. I wish I had money enough to get several kits and just save them until I'm ready to make another Lucy or another whoever. But now they're closing them out, and they're $35. And when they first put them back out, they were like $60 a kit, and they said, we will not reduce the price on these kits no matter what. Next thing you know, they're reducing the prices on the kits. I was glad. I'm not complaining, because I couldn't afford $60 a kit. The only reason I'd pay that much for a kit is if it was a special order, like somebody is gonna wants a custom or something. But not many people want customs anymore. And I've only ever done one custom, and the lady was very free-spirited about it. She didn't try to, no, that's not right, I wanted it lighter than that. She didn't do any of that stuff. She was very good about it. She just told me what she wanted, and I just did it. And but I've heard some people who want customs want to see every stage. They want to go, no, do that different, and it's just nerve-wracking. I've heard a lot of artists say they won't do customs anymore because of that, because of the person's high demand, highly demanding. I want this kind of modeling, not that kind, and then they back out of the deal. Well, that's just wrong, but people do it, and it's not a good thing to do to the artist. But I understand they want what they want, but it's really hard for an artist to deliver something exactly the way you ask for it. Being an artist, you're trying to do your art, and that's why I would prefer to just make dolls and put them up for sale and let people buy them. You like it, buy it. You don't like it, pass it by, that kind of thing. Because I'm just, I don't know, different. That looks a little too, I don't know, I want to say swiped with I'm not even sure these are going to show. They're not very dark. I just keep going over it, and I just keep thinking I'm making it darker, and it's not getting any darker. I guess because the paint's not any darker. I don't know. I don't want to break out the wet paint. Maybe I just need to get a brush that has a deeper concentration. And I don't know which one that would be. Maybe this one. It's so big, though. I didn't want to use a brush this big. It's a little better as far as darkness goes. Okay, we're going to let that be good for step number 1. Maybe after it's baked, I can add a little more color to it, but I'm just not sure because, I don't know, can you even tell it's shadowy up here where I put the purple? It won't look as purple when it's baked. It's going to turn into a real shadowy looking look, I think. Let's put it that way, I think. Okay, I'm going to put some yellow on her face now. I've been skipping that till too late for it to matter. I think the yellow needs to go on very early. Try to prop her head up a little bit. There we go. And it looks a little better to me when you put it on early than it does when you put it on really, really late in the process. It has a chance to be the undertone instead of the overtone. And this is one of my favorite colors to put on the face, so I like to do it. I just use the very, very tip, and I just put it right down on these little fat parts of her cheek right here. And the same thing on this side. And then I go right across the middle of her nose, the middle. Not where we put the blue and not where we're going to put the red. I'm going to put some right here because she looks a little fat there. And on her chin. Her chin's a little bit fat right there. And she has a little bit of fat cheeks. I'm wondering if I could swirl a little bit on her fat cheeks like this. Just to give her a little bit of, you know, more fatness. The yellow is a very pretty color. I'm not going to say it shows through because it really doesn't. But it changes a little bit the color that's going to be on top, which makes it kind of show. That's kind of showing, I think. And it does make a little bit of a fatty look to them. Now, I know you can't see it, but it's on there. I just keep showing you things you can't see. And now she had really fat legs and arms. You can do it on the fat on them too, but she has kind of skinny legs and arms. So I'm not going to do it. So other than her red and her lips, I think we're finished with, where did this go? Her face, pretty much. I like to do the whole face at one time. I don't like switching back and forth very much. And I don't like modeling the face. I dislike that because, I don't know, it just makes them look funny in their face to me. I did give her a vein or two on her face, but no, that wasn't her. I haven't veined this doll yet. That was that other doll I'm working on. Okay, we're going to give her a couple of veins on her face, which I'm totally against. So just so you know, I don't like doing this. I'm going to start way up here, and I'm going to come down on her temple like this. And I'm going to give her a little branch off of it like that. And it's very light, and you can't see it, I'm sure. I'm almost positive you can't see it. My friend said when she zooms in, she can see some of the things that I say you're not supposed to be able to see. But she said she has to zoom way in to see it. She has much better equipment than I do. Her phone's like an iPhone, and well, my tablet's an iTablet, but her phone is an iPhone, and she can zoom in on that with her iPhone and see it real good. That was a little stark for me. I'm going to rub it a little bit. Rubbing does diminish a bit. It might not diminish as much as you want to, but sometimes it's all about not so much eradicating, but just diminishing a bit. This sponge is falling apart. And that's all if I had my red pencil, I'd give her some capillaries on her eyelids and stuff like that, but I don't have it, so I can't do that right now. But I am going to try to color her lips. I'm not putting the red on this time because it's going to turn that yellow right into orange. We don't want orange blush. We really, really don't. So I'm going to try to color her lips a little bit at least and give her a head start on that. I still don't think Everly's lips look right. She's in for a bake right now. And I've started this doll because, well, I'm just that way. I don't want to be idle. When I have time that I can work on things, I want to work on them. And when I don't feel like working on things, I want to not work on them. And right now I feel like painting a doll. And Everly's in transition, so here we go with Lucy. I'm not sure she has a lip line. We're going to have to make one up, I think. I don't see a lip line. Not really. I see a little bit of one, maybe. It's like right there, I think. I'm not sure. I could be going way outside of it. I don't even know. As long as her lips look like lips, I guess it's going to be okay. And I'm not sure where they're supposed to end here either. Not sure. We need to go to where we think we need to go the very first time, because if you leave a spot and you bake, you'll never catch it up. I never can. I don't care how hard you try, it's not going to be the same color, because you're going to do it different some kind of way. I guess some people do catch them up. I don't know, but I'm probably not one of those people who can do that. It just looks funky on this side. Looks way too wide. I don't know. That looks right, though. Looks like it's her lip line. I can't tell. She just doesn't have a lip line. If she does, it's not defined. She has this lip area you can color, but are you getting the whole lip? Do you go past that? Do you go down to this fatter part? I don't know. On this one, it looks like the fatter part is part of her lip, so I'm going to do it. On some dolls, I think that's just part of their face, because they have a well-defined lip line. She does not, so we're going to color it. Try to get it to look as good as possible. That's all you really can do anyway. This is kind of light, but I'm thinking light might be the better way to go, because on Everly, I started going dark and it just was very crackly looking. I didn't like the way it was coming out, and I couldn't do anything about it because it had already baked, but I just kept putting more on top, and I just kept not liking it, and I don't know. I still don't like it, but when she comes out, I'm going to have to go over it again. I'll put a little bit in her nose. I'm just going to swirl it around, because I'm finding when I puddle their nose like I've been doing, and then fish it out with the swab, it ends up being, all of it comes out. All the color comes out, and you don't have any color in there at all. So I'm just going to put little bits in there and swirl it around. Hopefully that'll give her a reddish looking nose. I don't know, but Presley, whoever made Presley, drilled out his nose. And I dislike, that's one of the things I disliked about his kit. Well, his finished kit, was that they drilled out his nose. Why didn't they just color it? They drilled it out and put a piece of felt behind it, and it just didn't look natural at all. It looked funny. But I mean, I'll live with it because I love his sculpt, and I love the way he's painted and everything, except for that, of course. Okay, Lucy, I hope that looks good for your lips. I can't tell because she doesn't have a lip line. I'll clean clean it up a little bit. It looks sloppy to me. Very, very sloppy. Looks like one side of her lip is like she's making a face and one side of her lip is different from the other side. Some dolls are like that. They are making a face and one side of their face will be a little different from the other side, but I just can't tell with her. Just can't tell. It looks like her upper lip is way too big, way too long at the sides and everything. I don't know. I don't know if I take some of that off, if it's going to look normal or not. No, that doesn't look normal. It's just going to have to be like that because I don't know any other way to do it. That's weird, but okay. She's got some on her head. I don't like it when I get stuff on their head that's not supposed to be there. That is not supposed to be there. Whatever that was, it came off. Okay. Now I'm gonna, I don't know what color I'm using here. It does not look like a red color. It's purple. It's purple. This is the red one, I think. Just gonna give her a little color on her ears, just a little, to make them a little pinker. I'm trying to maximize as much of the enhancements in one step as I can without compromising another enhancement. And even though she has to bake again, I'll have this step done. She's gonna have her facial blush done in a separate step because I put the yellow on. And if you start putting other colors on top of other colors, you're gonna end up with a color you don't like. At least bake between them. And I put quite a lot of yellow on her face. So we're stuck with trying to minimize some of that crossover paint we might get if we go on and put the red on now. I'll put it on top of blue because it doesn't really affect blue the same way as it affects. I know blue and red make purple, but it doesn't usually do that on the doll itself when you're using these dry colors. Now I'm just afraid that yellow and red might make orange, so I'm not doing it. I'm not going to take that step. I really like Lucy's sculpt and I want her to come out good. Well, I want all of them to come out good whether I like their sculpt or not, but especially ones I like. Because if there's any that I would keep, if they don't sell, I would keep them. Lucy's one of them. And I want her to look good. I don't want her to look, you know, bad. I'm going to put a little on her eyes because, well, they always seem to be undercolored, usually in my dolls. The eyes just seem to be plain, real plain. And the tip of her nose. Because the tip of her nose did not get any yellow. We just put it across the middle of her nose and her cheeks. So she looks like baby Rudolph right now, but we're going to pounce her a little bit with the kabuki and try to soften up this. I'm just trying to get the entire nose colored on the tip because it looks weird if only part of it's colored. And I'm gonna get this kabuki up here. I'm gonna kabuki her nose a little bit just to spread it out and soften it in her eyes too. Just little, I'm not pouncing real hard. I'm just sort of just trying to spread it, I guess. I'm gonna kabuki her ears a little harder. They're just bright red. I'm still not just totally in love with this Gemini red. It's just not my color. I took a little too much off her ear over here. I'm gonna have to put a little bit more back on. And that's pretty much got her head. I don't think we can do any more safely to her head right now. She looks pretty good for a first go. So I'm gonna set her over here and we're gonna work on her arms and legs a little bit. The enhancements take the longest. The little tiny segments to just paint flesh colors on them are very, very quick and very, very easy. Anybody can go up and down with a sponge all over a doll. This is the part that takes the artistic ability. You have to learn it, you have to practice it, you have to want to do it. And it's kind of hard sometimes to figure out, do I really want to put this on there, you know? And you have to just do it. That's the secret to making a doll, is just, I know I've probably told this story a bunch of times. When I first made my first doll, it was Spencer. I ordered him because he was kind of, I didn't think he looked very good. I thought it was kind of an ugly doll. And I thought, well, if I'm gonna mess up a doll, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mess it up, I don't want it to be one that's gonna make me upset that I messed it up. So I ordered what I called at the time the ugliest cheap doll I could find. Now, I went to the cheap dolls. They were in the artist sculpts, and back then an artist sculpt was around $12, I want to say. And I thought, well, that's cheap enough, $12. Okay, so I ordered him. He came, and I started to work on him almost immediately. And, well, no, I really didn't. I started to work on him, and I backed out more than one time. I looked at him, I'm scared, I'm gonna think about it. That was my number one thing, I'm gonna think about it. And so I thought about it, and I kept on thinking about it because I couldn't decide what I freaking wanted to do. And finally one day I just sat down and I said, I am going to put paint on this doll today. And all I did was put coats of paint on him. I did no enhancements at all, nothing. I just sat down and I started with the baby skin. I used baby skin back then because that's what they recommend that you make your dolls out of, is baby skin. It's a really light color. The flesh colors begin at 08 being the lightest, and 02 being the darkest. I've never seen an 01, so I'm gonna say 02 is the darkest. And the thing about them is they get progressively darker each color. But the baby skin is a totally different ball of wax. They've taken the 08 and pinked it up, and they call it baby skin. It is so light and so pink, and you have to put like 7, 8 coats on your doll, or you don't have a color on your doll at all. It just doesn't ever look colored to me. Well, I made him with that color. And I put the warm blush on. I probably had, I don't even remember. Seems like he was pretty pale to me in my memory from way back then. I probably made all of my paints way too light, and I put them on way too thin, and you know, I didn't put enough coats on. I was scared, but I'd sit there with the sponge and I'd go, oh, I can't make myself put this on him, you know, and I'd stop and I'd think about it another day, and I'd come back the next day. And then finally one day I said, okay, I'm just going to do it. And I just put the sponge down on him, and once I did, I just kept going. And when I got finished with him, I was so proud of him. I was so proud. He was flatter than, his color was so flat, but to me he looked beautiful because it was my first doll. And I sold him for $80. He sold for $80. And man, the market wasn't even that high back then on dolls as it is now. About nobody hardly got over $250 or $300 for a doll, unless they were some high-end prototype artist. And I just was so proud of myself that I went straight back and made another doll. It was Heather, And I decided I'm going to give her a vein. And I gave her this big, fat, dark blue vein right coming down her forehead right there. And then I tried to eradicate it by putting on more and more and more and more blush on her face. And it was just a disaster. She was such a disaster after I thought I had succeeded so well with Spencer. I thought she was just the worst ever. And a lady bought her for $80 and told me how beautiful she was. And I thought, well, she must be just trying to be nice. That doll is hideous. But she just went on and on about how she loved that doll and how beautiful it was. And so, well, I got over my fear a little bit, and I started painting other dolls. I don't remember my third doll, which one it was, but I'm sure it was equally as bad. It took me a long time to decide, oh, they need something besides flat paint on them, because I was such a newbie. And like I said, I only watched a handful of videos. There just weren't people making quality videos back then. I saw one lady with a tub of skin color about as big as this. And she just held the doll piece over it and just dipped a big old fat paintbrush in and just painted it's going to go really, really fast like this. And I mean, you didn't know what to believe. There was just such bizarre videos. And you just go, well, should I do that? Then you watch another video and you go, or should I do that? You know, it's like, I just don't know what to do. This is bizarre. Oh, no, I don't want creases. I want blush. Oh, crap. Sorry, I almost made the camera fall. That pulled against the cord really, really hard. We're still on, aren't we? Yeah. Anyway, I kept watching videos and I decided none of these videos are helpful to me. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to eke it out myself. I'm going to figure it out and do it for myself. I don't have any paint in any of these brushes because I've used them all. And so I just sat down and just figured it out. And that's how I became an artist. I didn't follow anybody. I followed me, myself, and I was very, very, very nervous the whole time. And I don't know why that spot won't cover. It just won't. Huh, what's wrong with that spot? That's weird. There's this one spot on this one finger that won't color. Oh, there it colored a little bit. Better not pounce that. Not if I want the color to stay. But anyway, that's the story of how I got started painting dolls. It's a weird one. And so then later on in my experience, I started noticing what other artists did, and I thought, I don't know, maybe I'll do it. And I still didn't want to do it. I was scared. And I kept saying, I'm happy with my dolls. I don't need to do anything else. And I was selling dolls, but not for much. And I wanted to make a better doll. I really did. And so I decided to start looking at what some of the people were doing and trying to really make a decision on if I thought it was something feasible that I could do. Because I was just ultra confused. And it became strained for a while. And you don't want it to be strange. You want it to be fun and easy, and you want to do it at your own pace, and you want to make beautiful dolls. And I made mediocre dolls at best. I penciled their hair, which I got pretty good at penciling hair now. I did do that. And I donated a lot of dolls, and I, sold a lot of dolls at a discount. And I told myself, well, I'm recouping my money at least, and I can keep on going. And that was good enough for me for right then. But then I started wanting to do more even. And then this past year, I'm not talking about just 2025, I'm talking about 2024 as well. So a year and a half. I've really been trying to do a much better doll. Even though I had already started doing enhancements by then, I didn't really, I don't know, I'd go, well, that's good enough. Nobody's going to notice that and stuff like that, you know. And it gets to where you're settling. You're settling for the mediocre doll you're making. And then later on, you're going, well, I need a cash flow. I have like 45 dolls and they're not selling. And so you put them down cheap. And I don't recommend that because people who know you go down all the time, they're never going to pay the price you want. I'm not saying never go down. Sometimes you do really need a cash flow. But make a sale and make it only for a certain length of time and let it just go off without saving dolls for people, and don't do it over and over and over and over again. When people say, oh, that doll was on sale and now it's not. Can you give it to me for the sale price? It's no, the sale is off. Because if you don't at some point start to demand a good price for your dolls, then you're going to always be going down and selling them like a bargain doll or something. And that's not good for your business. So if you're making dolls strictly for yourself, none of this information is good for you. But if you want to sell dolls, some people don't care about selling dolls. They just want to make some dolls that they like. And they're going to just order just the ones they like. And they're going to make those. And that's all they're going to do. And that's fine. Because you get to do your own thing all the time. Whatever it is that pleases you, that's what you do. But when you're making dolls for the public, you have to think about, what's going to make this doll sell, you know? Should I give it blonde hair or brown hair? Or, you know, you think about what's been selling and what didn't sell, and you're thinking about what you can do better next time. And these are all concerns when you're selling dolls. It's not just about the sculpts you like, it's about other sculpts too. But when you're making your own dolls and that's all you're doing, it's only about sculpts that you like. It's only about procedures you like. It's all about you. But when you're making them to sell, it's really about everybody else. What will sell? What can I get money out of? But when you go down on your dolls, people are going, oh, well, you know, see, I waited 3 months and she went down. And if I wait, I've had dolls that were being watched for multiple months, and even they were in people's carts. Seriously, in somebody's cart. More than one person had this doll in their cart for 2 months. But there's certain times when dolls sell better. Of course, doll season. But the average person who's buying dolls online, what I experience anyway, is that they're either retired people or, I don't know, it seems like it's during the time when people who get a monthly check are getting their month, like the beginning of the month or the middle of the month. Some people get paid every 2 weeks, so, you know, the middle of the month is good too. And the rest of the time it's dry. But that's okay, because you might sell 4 dolls that week, but they were all on the middle of the month, see? And then the next week you won't sell any. And then here and there you'll sell some to people who just have the money already and want a doll. But it seems to me like, now I'm not saying anything negative against any group of people, but it seems to me like the people who have the less money to spend are the ones who are buying the most dolls. And they can't afford highly expensive dolls. Like if you want to make a $1,300 doll, like somebody who says they sell their dolls for $1,300, you're not going to sell as many dolls. That is an extreme price. I advise you to do what I did. It really opened my eyes. I was advised by another artist to do this. Take a piece of paper, figure it out. When you buy polyfill, whatever size package you buy, how many dolls can you make with that? Let's say 4. Let's say you just buy a smallish package because you don't have room to store it, and you can make 4 dolls with it. What did that cost? Oops. Divide it by 4, and that is the cost to put polyfill in a doll. It doesn't really matter if it's a big doll or a little doll. It pretty much averages out. And the same thing with your glass. If you're buying a big tub of glass or just one of those little bags from Bountiful Baby or whatever, how much glass are you putting in each doll, and what is it costing you? Figure out these costs. If you're using sponges, what do they cost? How many dolls did you make with that sponge? It takes a little bit of effort to do this, but it's worth it. It opens your eyes as to what you're really costing you to make a doll, because a lot of people think, oh, it was a $35 kit and a $20 body, so $55. It ain't that easy. You're going to put an outfit on that doll. What did it cost? Write everything down. I made a sheet. Here's one way I figured it out. I knew how much weight I wanted to put in my doll. I buy that big 50-pound bucket of glass, and I put that much weight in each stocking that I pre-made. I'm pre-made stockings to go in the bodies. And I put that much weight in each stocking, and I made 35 stockings with just a few crumbs left over. But that's not all the glass you're going to use. You're going to put some in the arms and legs too. And as I was putting it in the arms and legs, I noticed it was just about the same amount that I was putting in the little bags. So 35 dolls can be made with 2 buckets, 2 50-pound buckets of glass. Divide it out and see how much you use. That's how much it costs for each doll. It's more than you think. You think, oh, what is it, $3, $5? Well, whatever it is, put it down. And then you go with your paint, okay? I figured between all the colors of paint that I use, doing the enhancements, doing the nails, doing the layers, all of that together, everything, every bit of paint I use on my doll is equal to 1 jar of paint per doll. That's what I figured up. It may not be that much, it may be a little bit less, but it's close. And so that's what I put down for my paint cost, 1 jar of paint. And then there's the paint thinner, then there's the all different kinds of glue you use, then there's the hair and the needles, and it's just a never-ending cycle of things that you use that you don't even realize. I put down an average of 3 throwaway brushes. Your brushes run out too, and you have to replace them. I only put down a nominal fee of like 10 cents for brushes per doll. But you put something down for everything you use to make that doll, everything. And when you add it up at the bottom, you're going to be shocked at how much it actually costs to make a doll. And then when you want to get $200 for your doll, you're going to realize, oh, I'm losing money. I'm going backwards already. Eyes, lashes, all that stuff costs. And, you know, if you root hair, that costs. Sealer costs. Pencils cost. Everything you use on your doll costs. And when you're having to keep your points really, really sharp on your pencils, you're grinding them down so quick you don't realize it. And you're needing more pencils. I just ordered pencils from Jerry's Artorama. I ordered several colors, and in some of the pencils that and they're discount. They're a discount from Bountiful Baby, a big discount. And after I put all my pencils in the cart, and you know, you have to pay shipping, I don't care where you buy them, and all that, I think it was around $40 worth of pencils I bought. And they don't last that long. They don't last a long time. Some pencils have a flaw in them when you get them. They'll have a little split. Like, I don't know, you probably can't see that split. And sometimes when you sharpen them, it will cause the point to just fall out of that split. And then you have to sharpen them again. And that wastes your pencil too, because that point is probably an inch long. That's an inch of your pencil you're losing. So, you know, it's not all just cut and dry, you know. there's a lot of factors in making a doll. A lot of factors. What color was this? Well, I can't tell. I'm gonna put it in the purple. I think it was purple. I don't think I used that color for red. Okay. Well, that was blue anyway. Oh well. Anyway, so you have to consider all these factors when you're making a doll. Not just the cost of the kit and the cost of the body. Those are important costs, and they might be your most expensive cost, but all those little costs that you're not thinking of, you're going, well, that was nothing, that's nothing, and that's nothing. You just nothing everything away, then you're not getting a full picture. You're going to use some paint thinner, you might use some thinning medium, you might use 2 or 3 different kinds of glue, and they don't last as long as you think they do. These little glue bottles do not have that much glue in them. I can't wait till this one's gone. I bought a 3-pack of this one accidentally when I was trying to get this one. When I went online, it said, oh, new look, same great glue. So I bought it. And it's not, this is gel, this is the liquidy one. This liquidy one runs and runs, and you do not want to use it. Use the one that says gel on it. This Loctite's the best I've ever used, and I've used a lot of kinds of glue. Some of them turn gummy and the eyelashes slip off, and the pacifiers slip down in their chin, but this bonds, and it bonds quick, and it bonds like, I would say permanently. I was unable to get a pacifier out of a doll that I wanted to take it out of. So that's how good it bonds. But anyway, we've done just about everything we can to Lucy. I could give her a go over on the creases, but I want to bake her first because I've put this on her feet and hands and stuff, and I don't want to be rubbing it off with the pencil point. So we're going to get her in and get her a bake, and when she's cooled off, we will come back and we'll look at her and we'll see what we think about the things that we've done to her already and where we need to go from here. Because really, it's not a guessing game, it's more of a wait and see game. Wait and see how she looks from these, then we'll decide about the next round, you know. Because if what you've already done doesn't look right, you might need to doctor it a little bit. But if it looks great, then you're going to move on from there. What else will make her look great, you know. Anyway, please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and happy reborning.